It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. We do your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. And while this show is almost always locally focused, today is going to be an exception for very, very, very obvious reasons. There is only one story that the whole country is thinking about right now, and it's the absolutely shocking events that took place on Saturday at the Trump rally in Pennsylvania. I can't even tell you how. I don't think I'm that politically connected to people, but I got maybe 50 texts from people over the course of the first 2 hours when I saw that, and it was just so heartbreaking to know that something like that could happen in today's day and age. I thought we were past that kind of stuff, but I guess not. Look, here is your chance to vent. Here is your chance to express yourself. If you want to react to what happened over the weekend, 800-222-KABC. There's been nonstop breaking news for the last 48 hours, not just about the shooting, where luckily everything's okay. Well, that's what Biden told me. Everything was okay.
Thankfully, former Trump is not seriously injured.
I did watch that entire speech, though. It was pretty nice. The tone was nice. I don't know if it's going to hold, but we've got to lower the temperature in the room. Nobody should be committing violent acts on behalf of any political party. Who knows what the motive was for this thing, but it was horrific, awful. Somebody lost their life protecting their family. There are people that are injured. This is an awful, awful incident. So anyway, you want to react to the shooting that happened over the weekend where President Trump got shot at a rally, luckily just his ear, 800-222-KABC. Also, if you want to react to the VP pick, it just happened today at the RNC. J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio, is going to be Trump's vice presidential pick. Do you think it was a good pick? Is it the pick you would have made? I'd love to hear from you. 800-222-KABC. I'll tell you the most shocking thing that I just found out about J.D. Vance. He's only like a year older than me, and I'm young. J.D. Vance is 39. He'll be 40 on August 2nd. I turned 39 on August 5th. So that's wild. That guy has gone from literally rags to riches and fame and to the U.S. Senate. And I work in radio. Different trajectories for different people. So we'd love to hear your reaction to that, too, at 800-222-KABC for a little explainer on who exactly J.D. Vance is and an update on everything that's been going on in this insane nonstop news cycle. Let's get a little explainer from NBC4 and Conan Nolan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Annabelle Sedano. Let's get right to it. We begin at 3 with day one of the Republican National Convention. The RNC kicked off today in Milwaukee with major announcement. Mr. Trump is now officially the Republican nominee for president, and he announced his running mate, J.D. Vance, a freshman senator from Ohio. Now, this all comes just hours after the dismissal of Mr. Trump's classified documents case and 48 hours following the attempt on the former president's life at a rally in Pennsylvania. The FBI released new details after searching the home, vehicle, and phone of the shooter, identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. Investigators believe he acted alone.
20 years old. What a mess. How did this kid get a rifle?
Investigators believe he acted alone, but are looking for possible co-conspirators. And the gun used on Saturday was purchased legally. We have live team coverage. Camilla Rambaldi is tracking new developments on the assassination attempt. But first, Conan Nolan is live in Milwaukee at the RNC. Conan, we heard major announcements. What's been the tone after Saturday's incident?
Well, quite frankly,
if you're wondering why I decided to pick the NBC4 report for the explainer on J.D. Vance, it was for that.
Well, quite frankly,
thank you, Conan Nolan. You are added to the wall of fame of Quite Frankliers.
Well, quite frankly, people have been resolute in their support of this ticket. They've gotten their head around, for the most part, we guess, after 48, 72 hours. That, again, very thankful that they do have a candidate, considering how close it came to a fatal assassination of the 45th president. But the big buzz...
You seen that picture that's going around where you can see the bullet as it's coming at him? It is scary. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about any political party. That is horrific.
But the big buzz just now, of course, is that for the first time in Since 1952, the Republican Party has nominated a 39-year-old as vice president of the United States, nearly 4 decades younger than Donald Trump. J.D. Vance, senator from Ohio. Not a lot of people know about him. It is noteworthy that originally he referred to Donald Trump, well, he compared him to Adolf Hitler. Now, all is forgiven.
Although I guess there are some people that have said, well, who hasn't said a bad thing about Trump in their lives?
This convention will come to order.
Not wasting any time. Normally it's the big build-up to the end. But on session one, day one, the party of Lincoln nominated for the 3rd time Donald J. Trump as the Republican nominee for president for his long-desired...
It's been a long 8 years.
For his long-desired 2nd term.
With the largest delegation in the nation, Madam Secretary, the great state of California proudly casts all of its 169 votes for President Donald Trump.
The nomination pro forma. The big buzz came from the nominee himself, that his running mate and potential future vice president will be Ohio's J.D. Vance.
And, everyone's expecting some kind of big, almost Apprentice style, reality show competition where there'd be some big unveiling, and it was announced via Truth Social. 12:07 in the afternoon.
At 39, nearly 40 years younger, less than 2 years as a U.S. senator.
Just yesterday, the California delegation met with one of the 3 on the short list for vice president. That is North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
Yeah, Burgum, nice guy, but he got the call that it wasn't going to be him.
This pick, well, it caught a lot of delegates by surprise. What do you know about him?
Not much.
Do you know anything about J.D. Vance?
No comment.
I support J.D. Vance as our vice.
No comment. Oh, that means he knows something.
No comment.
I support J.D. Vance as our vice president.
Well, what do you know about him?
He's a senator from Ohio.
Look, there's 100 of these people. Can't know the back history of all of them. He's got a little more history beyond it because of that whole hillbilly elegy thing, but I don't know that much about J.D. Vance.
You said some nasty things about Donald Trump in the past. You think that's all forgiven?
I think maybe a lot of people have done that.
Vance is widely known for the story of his upbringing. Hillbilly Elegy is the story of the rotting out towns and cities of the post-industrial Midwest.
He is going to be a figure for the populist turn that the Republican Party has gone. He is much younger. What is your opinion on J.D. Vance as the nominee for vice president for Donald Trump? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Of course, you can also react to the shooting this weekend because, you know what? This is your place to vent about it. Let's go to John in L.A. John, hello.
Hey, Randy, how are you?
I'm great.
I am so glad J.D. Vance is on the ticket. This is going to bring so much youth and strength to the party. Trump, hands down, picked the right person. Fantastic choice. I am so glad. And you know what? We're going to win in a landslide victory, and this country is going to change for the better. I could already feel the energy in the air. Everyone's feeling really, really good.
Now, John, what is it about J.D. Vance that you really like?
I honestly like he's a solid guy, you know? And Trump is a businessman. I actually met Trump. They had a real estate wealth expo about 2 decades ago over here at the convention center. It was under this publication called The Learning Annex. I don't know if it's still around. But his daughter was there, and I complimented her. I said, you know what, you're so beautiful. And she wasn't arrogant at all. She actually said, well, thank you. And then he came over. He's like, are you talking to my daughter? And I just wanted to say, he's like, what's your name? He shook my hand. He's like, good luck to you. And he patted me on the back. He's a really good man. Whatever image they paint about him, they're totally wrong. He's a good man. He's a good, solid man. He's going to do great things for this country.
Well, there you go, John. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. You heard from John. Solid pick. Solid guy. What is your thought on J.D. Vance getting nominated for vice president? What's your reaction to the insanity this weekend? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to John in Redondo. John, hello.
Yes, hi there, Randy. Yeah, that was really terrible. about the assassination attempt, but it made me think about something. It made me think about making America safe again. We have the assassination attempt. We have rampant crime in terms of robberies and violent crime. We have mostly peaceful protests, and we have illegal immigration that's causing crimes as well. And then if you go look internationally, we really need to make our military and our defense much stronger because we have real enemies out there like China, so for example, and others. So that was my thought. I actually changed from making America great again to making America safe again.
Well, there's a message that everyone can get behind. John, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Who wouldn't want to be safe? What would be the counter to that? Let's go to Rick in Lawndale. Rick, hello.
Hello, and I'm a little shocked that you don't see any pundits, senators on the Democratic side, anybody come out and apologize for the rhetoric they have used by calling him Hitler, a rapist, convicted felon, racist, and all the other things that could set off these lunatics with these mindsets. You know, you go and you watch The View and people say his name and they physically spit out because they can't even fathom saying the Trump name. And it's really just disgusting on the things they say. And then they wonder why something like this could happen.
They turned him into Voldemort. There's my Harry Potter reference for the day. I'm on the third book. We only listen to them on audio tape when we go on road trips, and it's a good time. Movies, not nearly as good as the books. Anyway, 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. Your reaction to this weekend's insanity, the attempted assassination of a former president, the nomination of J.D. Vance as the vice presidential candidate. How do you feel about all this? This is your place to vent. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Danny in Toluca Lake. Danny, hello.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. You know, we're hearing about how J.D. Vance was, I guess, a never-Trumper or was not a fan of his, and he has since come around and changed his mind. And somebody commented on that earlier like it was a problem, and my point would be to say that they should not be worried about J.D. Vance changing his mind about Trump. They should be worried about the 20 million other people in America that are going to change their mind and vote for Trump. So I see a landslide coming after all this.
Well, there you go. Thanks. Danny, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Your reaction to this weekend's massive, insane breaking news. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. And tell me what you think about the new vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, the senator out of Ohio, who is only 39 years old. Look at that. Let's go to Grant in Lomita. Grant, hello.
Hello. Now, about this craziness with the assassination attempt, I don't blame completely all the Secret Service and authorities. I frankly think that's more of a Trump thing than anything. That would never happen with a current sitting president, President Biden, for example. I just think Trump was being very cavalier about the whole situation. That's just my opinion. I realize others are pointing fingers at Secret Service. But everything we know about Trump is his cavalier approach to everything. There is no reason why this would be any different, for one. Now, with regards to his selection for a vice presidential pick, he didn't pick Marco Rubio because, one, Marco Rubio has a little more integrity, and two, they didn't want to lose the Senate seat in Florida. Now, J.D. Vance is the perfect minion for Trump. He's young, he's malleable, and he's a little pit bull. So he's going to do exactly what Trump says, and that's what Trump wants. I don't think he does anything. Politically, he's a lightweight, as far as light as he can come without floating away, and he will keep in line, unlike Mike Pence. So that's my opinion on that.
Well, there you go. You gave us quite an opinion there, Grant. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Grant, not a fan. Thinks he's going to be a little too agreeable. Your reaction to the pick of J.D. Vance, your reaction to the attempted assassination of a former president this weekend. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Gail in Orange County. Gail, hello.
Hi, how are you, Randy?
I'm great.
So I wanted to say that the rhetoric that the left and other radicals that have been throwing out did cause the actions that were taken this weekend, which were absolutely horrific. And it is literally a miracle he's alive. If he had been eliminated, I believe it would have caused some civil unrest here in the U.S. that would have been horrific, which would not have been good. And as for J.D. Vance, if you look at his upbringing, even though he's young, he's definitely got street smarts and he's definitely got common sense. He does have I think it's they did a movie on him. It's on Netflix. Excellent. People should watch it. Kind of get what his background is about. And I believe he's a solid pick, and he's going to be good for the country, and I hope that they win.
There you go, Gail. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to watch Hillbilly Elegy on Netflix this weekend, which Ron Howard directed. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your reaction to this weekend's insane breaking news. Your reaction to Trump picking J.D. Vance as the vice president. We're taking your calls, and if we get time for it, we'll hear what Biden had to say in a little preview of his interview with Lester Holt. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your reaction to the attempted assassination of Donald Trump over the weekend. Your reaction to Donald Trump nominating J.D. Vance as his vice presidential pick. What do you think about Vance? What do you think about the horrific news this weekend? 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Carlos in Huntington Beach. Carlos, hello.
Yes. Hey, Randy, let's go. Okay. Divine intervention, that's all it is. But by the grace of God, got bullet grazes here. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, for J.D. Vance, pro-labor, okay? Pro-labor, and not government service employee unions, not the ones that we pay. We pay those guys in wages. They're not producing anything. It's about the blue-collar worker, the labor union. That's why he picked J.D. Vance. He fought for those railroad guys, the railroad workers, for their breaks, and the Teamsters love him. And we love him out here on the docks, too. That's about it, Randy.
Well, that's a huge constituency. If he can get the union vote, well, that's it for the Democrats, because that's what they hugely depend on.
He's got the labor, he's got the blue, because the leadership, maybe not, but rank and file, we're backing him 100%.
Well, and it's the rank and file that really make the difference when it comes to those vote tallies. Carlos, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your reaction to J.D. Vance being Trump's VP pick. Your reaction to the horrific news this weekend. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Sal in West Hollywood. Sal, hello.
Hey, Randy. How you doing?
Doing great.
Just wanted to... a couple of points here. I grew up in Chicago in the 50s and 60s, and I saw Richard Daley run his machine. That was a continuation of the Al Capone, Saul Alinsky, who was his accountant, Cloward and Pivens. What we're seeing with the Democrat Party is a continuation of those tactics. What we're seeing in our government now, this is Chicago politics, dirty politics, but win by any means. People that are thinking that this is going to be a slam dunk are dreaming, because there's more coming. This Democrat Party has more up their sleeve. They're not going to just lay down and quit. Brings me to my second point. This horrific shooting that took place which never should have been allowed. I mean, the Secret Service is not, that's not happening. But it was allowed because I believe that it will come out that there was collusion, maybe a soft collusion, but there was collusion involved here where either the police or the perimeter or this, God forbid, the Secret Service, somebody was complicit in allowing the safeguards to be loosened or dropped for those people in the crowd to be able to point it to the shooter and say, hey, this guy's climbing up with a rifle, and nothing to happen. There's nothing else that says collusion to me after hearing this. So thank God the president, Donald Trump, God bless him, is still alive by the grace of God. But there's more coming, so don't get too cocky, folks, about what's going on. We have to get out and vote. This is a wake-up call. Everybody needs to get out. 10-4 over now.
There you go, Sal. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. I would say you can almost always guarantee incompetence over any kind of like secret plan, but, still very early in the investigation. So who knows what happened, but incompetence is, par for the course with most governmental agencies, even ones as high up as the Secret Service. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well. I try to read and respond to every single one. RandyKABC@gmail.com. That's RandyKABC@gmail.com. And while we focus almost entirely on local stories this show, there's only one story that matters today. It's the horrific news over the weekend, the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, and the big news that just broke a few hours ago that Trump has picked J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio, the hillbilly elegy guy, as his VP. Your thoughts on both? Let's get to your calls. Let's go to Hector in Southgate. Hector, hello. Hector? Hector, go bye-bye. Let's go to Mary in L.A. Mary, hello.
Hello, hi. How are you?
I'm great.
Okay, great. I was just calling in. I was excited today about Trump's pick for VP. Here's one thing that occurred, though, because when I looked him up and got information on the Hillbilly Elegy movie, I found a connection similar to Rudy Giuliani on the Sackler, Purdue Pharma, which has been, of course, been in the courts for 8 years for creating the opiate catastrophe in America, right? So what happened, I guess, with J.D. Vance is he funded some sort of nonprofit that had a spokesperson to help people who is pushing this idea that the opiates weren't so much the problem as it was the mindset, right, of the people, which I think he found out later and he realized he made a mistake having that. But just to, I just don't like the fact that this whole Purdue Pharma and these people with hidden money use these political candidates to push not okay things on America. So I just wanted to call in about that. Because Rudy Giuliani,
I totally agree with you on that. The fact that none of the Sacklers will ever see prison time for all the destruction that they wrought upon this country really pisses me off.
Me too. They should totally be in jail. It's disgusting. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to take the opportunity here to say, keep the Sacklers, Purdue away from any anyone, right?
I like it. Mary, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Jonathan in West L.A. Jonathan, hello.
Hi, Randy. Well, I have heard some people suggest that it's divine intervention, what happened with this assassination attempt, and, I seem to feel pretty good about that. And I do remember Joe Biden saying he'll step down if God speaks. So I think God has spoken, and I think it's time for Joe to step down. That's what I That's what I think. I think the pick for vice president's fine. So let's just keep going forward. I'm glad he made it, and that Donald made it, and I think Joe needs to go. Joe needs to go. That's a good one. So.
Hey, it rhymes. There you go, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Of course, we also do have in our hearts the poor attendant who, at that rally, who did lose his life trying to shield his family from bullets. So that part of it is just, oh, that is heartbreaking. Let's go to, Hector called back. Let's go to Hector, round 2. Hector, hello.
Yes, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, yeah. I'm just ecstatic that J.D. Vance was chosen. That's who I wanted because I believe he'll continue the MAGA deal, you know. We need him to continue because it's going to take about a generation to get this country back in order again with all the damage that the Biden administration did. And as far as the Secret Service, they need to resign or be fired, the head of the Secret Service. I don't know if they'll do it because they're under the Biden administration, but it's ridiculous. How can they not have somebody watching the roof from 125 yards away? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes no sense when you look at it. I'm sure the investigation is going to find some kind of big blunder there. Hector, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Richard in Agora Hills. Richard, hello.
Hey, hello. How are you? First of all, Michael, I believe his comment about divine intervention, I think that is pretty insightful. A question about the Secret Service. No drones are ever used at these. There was no drone high in the sky taking a look at the whole crowd surveying the sky. So I'm just questioning that. That's the technology that we have out there. In regards to J.D. Vance, great choice. I can hardly wait because I understand that Vice President Harris has already reached out for a debate. I want to hear a debate because J.D. Vance actually being a decorated Marine Corps veteran will understand anything that goes on about the military. She would have no understanding about how to deal with any of the military issues that will face us in the future, considering we're in 2 conflicts right now. Also, J.D. Vance has started businesses. He has given jobs and employment. He hasn't been on the take such as Harris has been as an attorney general and for the state of confusion, the state of California. So I can't wait for the debate. Let's have that debate. JD, go take care of business. Talk to her about her military service. Oh, wait, she doesn't have any. Do we need someone who has an understanding of the military to be part of our administration that runs this country? I think we do. Thank you. I'm out.
There you go, Richard. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Jonathan in L.A. Jonathan, hello.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on J.D. Vance. Excellent pick. If any people need to watch his movie, Hillbilly Elegy. He overcame a lot when he was a kid as far as bullying. His mom had trouble with addiction. And through all that, he was able to get to Yale and become a lawyer as well as return to the military. I think it's a great pick. He's great at repelling Democrat talking points. I saw him on CNN and MSNBC. And the left complains about, President Trump not being presidential enough. Well, I think J.D. Vance, has that, his mannerisms, how he speaks. I don't think that's a negative to President Trump. I love President Trump the way he is, but I think for people in the left or people in the middle, I think they can really relate to J.D. Vance moving forward.
Well, there you go, Jonathan. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah, his history with, what a lot of the book was about and the movie, his mother's addiction, that's going to speak to people. Let's go to Paulette in Santa Monica. Paulette, hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. I can.
Hi. I listen to your show all the time. And the one thing I would just want to say is that the police, the victim of the shooting, they should sue the government, the federal government, for what happened. He got killed because there wasn't the right security. and he got killed saving his family.
Yeah, I got to imagine there's going to be a massive settlement even before that family can lawyer up, because that is just so unacceptable and so tragic. That man was just exercising his freedom to support his political candidate, and you have a reasonable expectation that you'd be safe there, especially when you have multiple police agencies and the Secret Service covering it, and it did not happen. Paulette, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. If you'd like to email us, you could do so at randykabc@gmail.com. Roger writes in and talks about his experience with the Secret Service once. I was on an LA to Chicago Amtrak during the Clinton administration who happened to be visiting Albuquerque. 350 of us on the train were held outside of town for 4 hours because the Secret Service had a 2-mile zone. They didn't want a large crowd within the zone, which was in a mile to a mile and a half away from the president. Many making connections in Kansas City and Chicago missed them and had to spend the night at their own expense because of the Secret Service's selfish actions. You mean the same Secret Service that shuts down the entire 405 freeway every time Vice President Kamala Harris needs to get out of her house in Brentwood? Let's go to Tim in the San Fernando Valley. Tim, hello.
Hello, Randy. I was just kind of, you know how some of the airlines, some accidents have been happening, and I think it's probably from a lot of their hiring practices. I think some of the same growing pains with Secret Service right now. It's not a popular opinion, but you know, there's some higher stakes in this scenario. That's kind of all I really had to say. So,
all right. Well, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Now, on to something really nice. 790 KABC welcomes Bruce Hornsby and the Noisemakers at the Libby Bowl in Ojai on July 28th. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 wins a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by The Canyon, where music meets the soul. Good luck dialing. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. That promo made me giggle because any promo that uses Simpsons references from 1994 warms my heart. Let's go to Teddy in Burbank. Teddy, hello.
Hi, Randy. This concerns James Martin McInnes, San Francisco's most famous lawyer, the man who closed Alcatraz. Every week, McInnes had his hair cut inside the Mark Hopkins Hotel at the Razor's Edge. And one day, the president's security detail was there, and McInnes walked in the back entrance like he always did, and 2 security guys were there. One of them put his hand on McInnes's chest and said, "You can't go here." And so McInnes said, "Remove your hand." And he didn't, so McInnes knocked him out and then walked over his body into the hair salon.
Oh, wow.
That's quite a story about the man who was he was the subject of the film Murder in the First, starring Kevin Bacon. He was quite an attorney. Well, he closed Alcatraz. He also was responsible for keeping the ILWU as a functioning union in the United States. He was a character.
Fascinating.
I'm writing
That's
a
really
screenplay
cool.
on him right now. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. McInnes was
That's great.
amazing.
Thanks so much for the call, Teddy. Appreciate it. That's a wild story. If you ever miss an episode of this show, we've got plenty of them for you at KABC.com. Click on podcast or go to the Apple Podcast app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for the KABC News Blitz, hit subscribe. And I got to tell you, if you missed Friday's show, it was National French Fry Day, and we took calls for the entire hour and all the best places to get French fries in Southern California. A call that we took at the top of the show was from Paul in Santa Clarita, and he told me about one that everybody knows and loves, Tommy's chili cheese fries. Can't go wrong with that. But he also told me about a place that I had driven by a million times, Douglas, on Winnetka and Van Owen in the Canoga Park area. He said some of the best fries he's ever had. Well, I happen to be driving on Van Owen near Winnetka. I passed by Douglas and I said, you know what? I'm not just driving past it. I'm going in there. And so I got myself a pastrami burger, which was probably a little too indulgent, and a small order of their fries. And a small order of their fries was this giant bag with grease on the outside. And I can easily say they were so perfectly seasoned. They tasted incredible. Those were 100% some of the best French fries I've ever had in Southern California. And if you've ever seen a picture of me, I have eaten a lot of French fries. So thank you so much for that suggestion. That's what we do on Happy Hour Fridays. We'll get back to local stuff tomorrow, but today was a big breaking news kind of day. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 for another News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC.